Hi everybody. I thought I would get on today. Tomorrow's Mother's Day, and I just felt to do a meditation today, maybe about the wounded inner child. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Sequoia. I've been a clairvoyant, healer, light worker, whatever you want to label it, for the last 38 years. Working with people all around the world. Part of my journey has been to attract adversity in my life and to be able to heal the wounds that has brought about, and in so doing I've developed processes to help people in their healing journey. All we can do is heal ourselves, and then we can give people tools to do their own inner work, and then it's up to the individual whether or not they use them. So so I'm currently in Facebook jail, but I thought, well, now is probably a time to start, getting onto YouTube a lot more. So I've got lots and lots of meditations that I've done over the past couple of years, and it channels through with my higher self. Quite often before the meditations, I just sort of observe, I observe what's going on with my perspective, because all I can do is like observe what happens in my life and how it reflects in the outer world. But the meditations are really exceptional. So when you see these, these meditations, and in the beginning, I'll always sort of talk about stuff. You can always fast forward straight to the meditation because they're really, really powerful. So over the past couple of years, we have done, we've done a massive journey with our meditations through the chakras, healing all the wounds of the chakras, healing the inner child, healing our abundance, healing all that sort of thing, and the frequency of what channels through me, which comes through my higher self, is to raise the consciousness of humanity. So it always goes to where it needs to go. And I found that going back to some of the meditations, because I always go back and listen to it afterwards, and some of the meditations have just been really profound. So I'm going to start uploading some of them. Some of them are quite old, but they're relevant for the time, but they're also relevant for now. So one of them's about, the solitude of this journey of being a light worker, of being here on this planet, in this dimension. So many of us have it's like we've walked our journey alone, and but now we're sort of in this past couple of years, so many gifts of everything that's happened is that we are meeting our soul family. We're connecting with other people that are like-hearted us, because we've sort of grown up maybe feeling different to everybody else because we're the circuit breaker in the family. We've always felt differently, we've always thought differently, we've always maybe been vocal, because we're the healers. So we're here to break all of the generational chains of pain and conditioning. And at the moment, with it being Mother's Day tomorrow, there's a huge astrological lineup where this is a really intense month, and I actually experienced it yesterday. So this is about the wounded inner child coming up. The wounded inner child all of a sudden is just needing a voice, needing to be heard, needing to cry, needing to be held. And I went through that process yesterday. Working with people's inner child has been my passion for the last 38 years. And all of the things that I have come through, I've developed processes as a result. So I took myself through my own process yesterday, and I'm still processing it. A lot of stuff is coming up, things that we thought we'd talked about. My inner child basically yesterday wrote and cried and talked all day. And it was the most amazing and profound experience. And sometimes we just need to allow ourselves to go through that process. So I'm being called by Spirit now to be, to be doing more, workshops with people. And as a result of yesterday's processing, but this is about the wounded inner child coming back. That little child that maybe wasn't loved, or was maybe neglected, or was maybe abandoned. That little inner child that's just screaming out for love and screaming out for attention, but doesn't seem to be getting it. And it's our inner child. Once we heal our inner child, our whole world wakes up, and our whole world changes, and everything as an adult changes as well too. So it's the most important work that we can do. And at the moment, with all of the stuff that's coming to the surface as far as truth, the Wade versus Roe is a big example, of what is what's being revealed now to humanity. And like the process of being a mother, like that being a mother, and that, what they do to children, all of that stuff is coming up now. And a lot of us have experienced a lot of trauma as children. There's been abuse, whether it's been mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, sexual, all of the above. There's been neglect, there's been abandonment, there's been rejection. There's growing up with a belief system of feeling, not believing that you're enough or that you're not worthy. So many different things, and that's been part of the programming of the matrix, to keep us down, separate the families, keep people divided, all of this stuff that has been orchestrated, and it's all part of the matrix that we're breaking through it. And at the moment, while everything is, it feels like the veils are really, really thin. It feels like, the connection between spirit and the other worlds is so, so close. Like you can feel, I've always seen and felt spirit, but now it feels like everybody's soon going to be able to see and feel that it's just like that veil's just about to be broken. So, and it's also too, we're breaking out of the matrix, we're breaking out of the, like the 3D world. Oh my God, we've got to pay my rent and got to survive. And then we're in this big, expansive, like knowing of who we are. So it's like the old parts of the ego are trying to keep us down in that low place, but it just can't survive anymore. So this is about, coming to terms with those parts of us that are unhealed, allowing them to come up and have a voice. Allowing yourself the deep process, the deeper you go, the better it is, because that's where all the gifts lie. Like yesterday I wrote for hours. I haven't done it for a long time, but it was such a necessary process, and I'm still processing. There's still memories and still thought forms coming up, because we're clearing lifetimes of stuff. We're not just clearing this lifetime, we're clearing all of the generational lines, all of the lineage of, incest. I mean, that's the big thing at the moment, because all of the pedophilia that's going on in the world, and all of the abuse and just the trauma that humanity's been carrying. So it's coming to the surface to be released. And everything in the world, like it's a reflection of the inner self, what's going on with the inner self. So all of these things are coming up to be addressed. All of these things are coming up to be healed. Your inner child just needs to be loved and nurtured. And maybe our parents didn't give us what we wanted growing up, because we would have a perception in our minds of how we would have thought growing up would be, happy, loving parents, and, mum and dad together and all that sort of stuff. But we've been brought up and programmed with so many things that go against all of that. So now it's about just bringing all of those parts of ourselves into alignment, calling in all of our multidimensional selves, calling in all of our soul fragments from all dimensions in time and space, so that they can stand in front of us, they can stand and be whole and healed, because this is what humanity's coming to. And so we're in this really, messy time. Well, it appears to be messy, but it's actually, all of these things need to be revealed. All of the truth needs to come to the surface, and the whole systems and the lies and everything that we've been living under, it needs to flip. So we're sort of in that 360 mode now, and I feel like we're at the top of the 360 and it's all coming down like a tsunami. So, and also through my processing, I thought, okay, I've got a really, like an idea for a workshop that I think would be really beneficial for people, and it's undoing the dissing in our life. And what I mean by that is, all of the things that we've been programmed with as, growing up unloved, unlovable, unwanted, unwelcome, unworthy, unworthwhile, untrustworthy, unbalanced, unfaithful, untrusting, unhinged, unbelievable, unseen, unacknowledged, unimportant, all of that stuff that we've been programmed with. And then all of the dissing, the dissing that we've done in our lives, the dissing that's been done of us, disappointment, disappointment because things don't work out the way that you want. Or you might have grown up being told that you're a disappointment, and that your existence, because of your existence, somebody else couldn't live their life purpose. Or under distress, or disillusioned, like disillusioned that, there's a big wound with that with God. Well, if there was a God, why would this happen? But what we also need to realize too is we need to take responsibility for all of what we have created, because God to me is the observer. God, spirit, universe, whatever you want to call it, is the observer and the mirror. you know, but it's actually the humans, we're in a human body that are having to go through all of these lessons, but it's actually us that's created all the rules. It's us that's created all of the fear and the tyranny, or we've allowed it. So you know, maybe being disabled, being distressed, disease, you know, some of us might manifest illness because it is a manifestation of the mind. All illness in the body is a physical representation of something emotional that hasn't been dealt with. And all of it's just energy, you know, all of it is just energy. So I thought I'm going to put together a workshop. It's a bit tricky, but I'll share this around and get people to share it, and we can do it as a one-on-one. If people want to work with their wounded inner child this week, because it's Mother's Day, you know, this is a perfect time, because the wound of the mother is actually the deepest wound that we carry. The wound of the mother that's been passed through the generations of all of the wombs. And it goes back, I believe, I was talking to someone today, and I did a meditation ages ago, which I'll find and I'll upload, Adam and Eve and Steve. And this was just, again, my thought, but my download that came through is like in the Garden of Eden, which is what we're heading to. You know, Adam and Eve were twin flames. This is just, again, my perceptions. No right or wrong. It's just what I got. You know, twin flames, they're really entwined. They loved each other. They were, you know, divine love. And that's what we all aspire to have in this dimension and time and space. That is also the love that we've had, that we've lost in other lifetimes, that our hearts have been so broken that it's taken a long time to heal from that. And that's the men and the woman, the divine masculine, the divine feminine. It's been smashed through all of the lifetimes. So now we're coming to this point now where we're uplifting and we're raising our vibration and we're moving into this higher consciousness, and that beautiful twin flame love will have the opportunity to come back together, because it's two whole healed beings coming together. It's not two half people trying to make a whole. So there's going to be a lot of power in that, you know. So this is part of the preparation for everybody as well too, you know, like it's that divine, that beautiful inner child that needs to be honoured and loved and nurtured and set free to be able to play, set free to be able to be a child, and just moving that energy out that the inner child has been carrying. What happens with us in a physical sense, because we're spiritual beings having a physical experience, and sometimes it's really hard because a lot of us know that we're from other dimensions and we come from such lightness and grace and opulence and just ease, you know. So this has actually been a really tough transition for so many of us coming to this place, but we also chose to do it because we can, because we are the light workers, and because we're here to bring in the truth. We're here to bring in the frequency of love and the Christ consciousness, which is love, you know, love that comes from within. What else was I going to say? So yeah, so we're moving into this time of absolute expansiveness. You know, now's the time to release all of the wounds of, you know, that lack thing, with that 3D thing. Oh my God, I've got to pay the rent, and oh my God. And then on the other side of it being this amazing expansive being, you know, so we're breaking all of these matrix things, and it's really tough because the ego is sort of trying to keep us pulled down in this world, and it's like, it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right anymore. I felt yesterday like I was sort of in between. It's like in between the third and the fourth. People say we're going from the third to the fifth. We're actually going. We're already in the fourth dimension. You know, we're moving through the fourth, and there's levels of it. The third dimension is, you know, feeling unconscious. It's all of the fear porn. It's all of that energy of control and domination and all of that sort of stuff. The beginning of the fourth dimension is where we start sort of waking up and going, oh, you know, that doesn't feel right. And that's where we sort of start our journey of self-exploration, of self-mastery, of knowing who we are, of, you know, discernment, you know, learning that discernment in our lives, and not just settling for things, and not just allowing people to do things to us or take things like that victim. We're not allowing that anymore. We're becoming empowered. So, and then there's different levels, varying levels. So we're actually moving from the fourth into the fifth dimension, you know. So a lot of us are at different stages of the fourth dimension. All of the fear and the anger and all of that stuff, it can't survive in the higher vibration. So that's why we've got to keep our vibration high, and we've just got to keep focused forward. We've just got to keep sending out the energy of love, but we've also ultimately, and most importantly, we've got to be loving ourselves. We've really got to be nourishing ourselves and nourishing our inner child, and being the love that we seek to ourselves, because that's where it comes from. being that what sort of partner do you want? If you're calling in that partner, what would be the things? Someone physically fit. Well, are you physically fit? Someone that's all of those things. You become the love that you seek, and that's what this time's all about. It's about the Divine Mother, the Divine Mother that's been so smashed. Adam and Eve, when Steve came along, they were entwined. He came along and he decided that I want what they're having, and they didn't want to give it to him, so he took it with force. He raped both of them. Then they had a baby and he ate the baby. So this starts the whole thing of, and she was already pregnant, she was already pregnant with Adam's, so she had these two babies. And this, to me, this is just my perception, but these two babies, one was of the dark, then he ate the baby because he wanted the essence of the baby. So that all of this cannibalism and all of this stuff that came through, because they're wanting that essence of purity, that essence of love, and that's who we are, and they can't survive in that. So they've done whatever they can through all of the lifetimes to destroy that, to invert everything, to divide us. But we've just come back stronger and stronger. We've come from other dimensions of time and space. We've come through lifetimes and lifetimes of abuse and persecution, and we've come back stronger and stronger, because what they're trying to do is, because these people don't feel love, they don't have a conscience, is to take our essence, but they can't, and our essence is becoming more and more powerful. So that's where we're at this moment in time. Well, that's my perception of things again. But it's a really, really potent time to heal that inner child, to heal that child that's been so wounded, so neglected, so rejected. We have to become the parent to that inner child, and now is the most important time to be able to do that. We have to be the one that, love the child the way that you want it to be loved, as when you're growing up, and what our parents did, we chose to come through them. We chose to come through this dense energy, and even though that's really hard to hear sometimes, we're the circuit breakers. We chose to come through that because we're the ones to smash the light and through all of the generational stuff that's come through, and that's why our journey's been so difficult. So yeah, there's lots going on, but it's about just really being gentle with herself, and the Divine Mother, the poor Divine Mother, Eve, pregnant with her beautiful baby, with her twin flame, and then raped, so she has these, raped by the serpent, that darkness as well, so that's like, the split in the Divine Feminine, the split in the Divine Masculine, the split that we've been programmed with through so many lifetimes, and now it's time to not tolerate that. We can't tolerate that anymore. We've allowed it, we've tolerated, but it's like, no more, we're done with this, and it's time for us to be moving forward, stepping up and stepping forward, knowing that we're God. Each and every one of us is made in the likeness of God. Each and every one of us is enough. Each and every one of us has done enough, and there's enough for everybody. We don't need to do or be or have any more, because we're enough. Just in this moment as we are, we're perfect. And the word imperfect is also I'm perfect. And this is another thing that they've done with these words is, they've put these words together, these things. I'm perfect. I'm possible. Impossible, I'm possible. So it's like, now it's time to start really owning all of the work that we've done over all of the years, all of the transformation, all of the lessons, all of the blessings. It's all going to come to a head now, come to a culmination, so that we can step forth as these amazing beings that we came here to be. So it's tricky, like, doing it this way, because I'm used to having people interacting. But anyway, I'm going to send this and I'll get someone to post it for me. But so we'll do a meditation now, and just for the Divine Mother and the beautiful, beautiful inner child, that wounded inner child. So if you just want to take a really, really deep, deep breath, and just lift your shoulders up and back and down. And as you do so, get a sense of all of the stress, all of the worry, all of the frustration, all of the fear, all of the anger, all of the disbelief and doubt. Just letting it all go, just breathing it all out. And as you breathe in, we're just breathing in the essence of pure, unconditional love. Just feel it coming down from the central sun. It's like Mother Mary now is blessing all of humanity with this beautiful, beautiful love, healing all of the children, healing the mothers, the sisters, the daughters, the aunties, the grandmothers, healing the fathers, the sons, all the way through the grandfathers, the brothers, healing, just sending this beautiful unconditional love down now for all the children of humanity, bringing forth all of the beauty and the grace that is your birthright. And at this time, as you breathe in, just imagine that you're filling up your heart with pure, pure love. It's just being dropped down. Beautiful droplets of love are just coming down into your heart, just softening everything, just taking away all of the hard edges, all of the trauma that's been sitting in the heart for such a long time, maybe lifetimes. All of the trauma of abuse and violation and neglect and rejection. All of the trauma of loss of loved ones, whether it be a partner or a parent or a child. All of the trauma that we've carried through all of the lifetimes, it's been deep in the heart of the persecution of the Divine Feminine. All of the trauma of the Divine Mother that she's carried through the wombs of all of the children and passed down through the generations. The wounds of rejection, of abandonment, of persecution, of violation, of sacrifice, of rape, of being hung, of being burnt, of being experimented on, of being dismembered. All of the essence, all of the energy of the Divine Feminine that has been absolutely annihilated now. All of the soul fragments of the Divine Feminine of all of humanity now coming back together, whole and healed. And feel the softening now in the Divine Feminine as a result. Feel now the Divine Feminine, although she's stepping into her power, she's also stepping into her softness and her nurturing and her loving nature. Feel this beautiful, beautiful energy of the Divine Feminine now as it wraps around you. Feel this Divine Feminine energy, the Divine Mother hugging you, the way your mum maybe couldn't hug you as a child. Feel the love, the pure, unconditional love of the mothers nurturing the children. Feel the pure, unconditional love and acceptance of who you are in your total and absolute perfection. Feel now the healing of the womb of all of the mothers on the planet. See now golden energy sweeping through all of the wombs, through all dimensions in time and space, releasing all of the fear and the tyranny and control, and all of that which was not of the light, which was not of love, all of that which destroyed the spirit of the Divine Mother, and that was passed down to the divine children. And feeling now this beautiful, beautiful love of all of the children of humanity, all of the boys, all of the girls, all of the inner children of humanity now being hugged by the Divine Feminine, the Divine Mother. And as all children are hugged, feel now all of the trauma that's been carried through the wombs. Traumas of incest, of abuse, of addictions, of anger, of hostility, of absenteeism, whether it be physically or emotionally. Releasing all of the trauma of the critical voice that has condemned and criticized and judged and put everybody down and made everybody small, needing control at all costs. Sending now release of that inner critic within each and every one of us, releasing all of that now, surrendering that energy. I am perfect. I am possible. Feel this beautiful energy now, this healing for all of the children of humanity, all of the inner children of every man, woman and child through all dimensions in time and space. May all of their whole healed energy come back, all of their soul fragments, whole and healed, coming back to this place in history, here and now, standing together whole and healed. And for the Divine Masculine, all of the soul fragments, for the Divine Masculine that has been emasculated and shattered in any way, through the sins of the father or sins of the mothers, all of the wounds that have been passed down through the wombs, of all of the mothers onto all of the men. now being cleansed and cleared and released. May all of the wounds of rejection and trauma, rejection from the mother, being released from all of the masculine hearts. May all of the trauma of being rejected or abandoned or violated in any way, shape or form, now all of those soul fragments come back whole and healed, bringing forth all of the gifts of love, all of the gifts of man standing in his divine masculine, fully empowered, his heart fully open, able to fully express his emotions, to cry when he needs to cry, to scream when he needs to scream. See now the divine masculine and feminine coming together, standing beside each other as equal, the divine mother and the divine father. See now the divine masculine and feminine with the inner child of the baby that's now of all babies, of all men and women, now being whole and healed. See the divine masculine and feminine birthing this beautiful child and gazing upon it with absolute, pure, unconditional love. Feel this going through the cells, through the atoms and through the fibers of every child on this planet. And all of those in spirit also, all of the generations, through all generations of time. This divine healing of the divine masculine and feminine, the divine mother and father, and the divine inner child now be whole and healed as humanity raises itself to the next vibration. Bringing forth all of that which is love, bringing forth all of the gifts from all lifetimes, and feeling now the union of humanity as we all come together as in love, in service to each other, and in joy. Feel now the abundance of all hearts of humanity being activated again. Absolute pure love, that is what abundance is, that comes from the heart. So feel now the power of this and send it like a tsunami of light across this planet, blessing all of the mothers for Mother's Day, all of the grandmothers, the sisters, the aunties and the daughters, all of the divine feminine on this planet, and all of those that are coming to this planet, coming into a place of healing, a place of growth, of happiness and joy. And to all of those leaving their physical bodies at this time, may all of your wounds be cleansed and cleared. And may you return fully whole and healed and able-bodied to enjoy the beautiful golden dawn. So feel now the abundance of humanity being bestowed upon every man, woman and child, the abundance of love, the abundance of happiness, the abundance of joy, the abundance of all needs being met, the abundance of safety, the abundance of communities coming together. Feel that abundance in the heart and feel the celebration that comes with that. And feel now the beautiful full armor of God on every man, woman and child on this planet as all of the darkness is being brought to the surface to be released. This darkness is of a very low vibration, so with the power of our love we sweep it off this planet. May they be taken somewhere where their consequences may be many, where they may have that spark of divinity within them to see through all lifetimes that which they have co-created, and also giving thanks for the darkness, for without the darkness we would not have found our light. So shining that light now as we've come through the darkness, we've come through the tunnel into the light, we've come through the birthing chamber, through the womb, into the light of a new dawn. Feel the power of that now, feel the rebirth in your soul, and calling in and claiming now all of your soul fragments whole and healed, all of your multi-dimensional selves coming together as one, and know that thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Know that you are in the holy and sacred place, the inner space of the divine womb, the place of all creation, and know that you are being reborn into the full beauty and potentiality of who you are. Feel now the healing of the mother, the healing of the father, the healing of the child, and feel now all of the blessings of the universe as you are nourished and nurtured into wholeness. Feel now the joy of who you are, and know that it is done. Okay, so I'll leave you with that. Come back to this place at any time. If your inner child's feeling wounded, just love him or her. Allow them a voice. Allow them to be acknowledged. Remind them that they're enough. They always have been. They always will be. They have enough. They've done enough. Just beautiful, beautiful love. And that's what it is that we're moving into. So sending you all so much love, and I will talk to you very, very soon.